Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, and I am podcasting along the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. It is mostly cloudy, but it's a nice, pleasant breeze. And today is January 21st, 2014. And today I'm going to be discussing an interesting bill that's been brought to the floor and recently got passed by the Regulated Industries on September 9th, 2014 at 9:30 p.m. in room 301 to be exact at the Senate office building. And it's entitled SB 342, the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act. And it was written by General Bradley, who's a Republican, and co-introducer Senator Gwen Margolis. And the main idea behind this is the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act, authorizing the municipality or county to restrict smoking on certain properties, providing limitations on such restrictions, authorizing a law enforcement officer to issue a citation under circumstances, etc. And if this goes all the way through the entire legislations, and if Rick Scott signs it, it will become in effect July 1st, 2014. I was a friend of mine was telling me about this, about smoking being banned, and I tried to do a little homework on it. I didn't find anything in both House and Senate floors on the websites, floridasenate.gov and floridahouse.gov, FL that is, excuse me. And so I just did a little research and talked about, I got an article that was published by the Orlando Sentinel. Smoking ban. Florida's playgrounds could be smoke-free under bill. This was written a while back, like 10 days ago to be exact, January 11th, 2014. And the whole ideal is to have a bill, if passed, that will allow local governments to regulate smoking on can't regulate smoking on private property. But, beaches, parks, and so forth, they could have no smoking signs. And plus, it could have, the county law enforcers going there citing people. And it's like it says right here, tickets would not be issued immediately. First, law enforcement would be required to ask smokers to put out the cigarette and notify them of the penalties. If that's ignored, the officer would ask the smoker to leave. If that's refused, the officer could issue a civil citation of no more than $100 for the first offense and no more than $500 on the second offense. And I like when Senator Bradley says the restricted areas would be clearly marked by no smoking sign. And he's a Republican that represents Fleming Island, Florida. And I'm just going to read the bill. I got it right in front of me. I find it pretty, I would say, nanny-ish, all right? And they had another bill related to that, which is considered to be HB 309, but the language is very similar. So I'm going to read the language of an amending bill under the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act. And this is pretty interesting. Indoor, outdoors, pretty contradicting. But let's begin. I'm going to read it right now as we speak. Oops, hold on, my mistake. Oops, nope, sorry about that. Fumbles. All right, this is it. Florida Senate 2014 SB 342 by Senator Bradley. A bill to be entitled an act relating to the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act, amending Statute 386.209, Florida statute, authorizing any municipality or county to restrict smoking on certain properties, providing limitations on such restrictions, authorizing a law enforcement officer to issue a citation under certain circumstances, defining the term playground, providing an effective date. Playground. So is it an indoor playground or outdoor playground? So gotta start thinking about that, all right? I'm going to move on. Be it enacted by the legislative of the state of Florida. Section 1, Section 386.209 Florida statutes is amended to read, 386.209, regulation of smoking preempt to state. This part expressly preempts regulation of smoking to the state and supersedes any municipal or county ordinance on the subject, except that 1. A school district may further restrict smoking by persons on school district property. 2. A municipality or county may further restrict smoking in the playground areas that are owned by the municipality or county if the area where smoking is restricted is clearly delineated by no smoking signs. A law enforcement officer, before issuing a citation for the violation, must first direct the person smoking to stop smoking and advise him or her of the penalties for a violation. If the person smoking does not heed the directive, the officer must ask the person to leave the premises. If the person refuses to leave the premises, in addition to any other penalty, a civil citation may be issued, punishable as provided. And I go a little bit further down here. Provided in Statute 386.208 as used in this section. Playground means a municipality-owned or a county-owned property that is designated independent area in a community or neighborhood, which is designed solely for children and has one or more playground structures. Section 2, this act shall take effect July 1st, 2014. You know what? It's so funny because they call it a playground and you want to add this to the Florida Clean Indoor Act. I'll be very sincere. I'm not a smoker. I know it's dangerous to your health. Plus, I have family members that suffered from it as well, including my father, may his soul be forever free, had emphysema. But he lived to be 52. That's a fact. All right? However, when are we going to stop being treated like little minions or field peasants? The nannyism of Michael Bloomberg doesn't work. I don't know where Senator Riley got his information from, but I'll tell you this, my friends. This is nothing more than lunacy to its course. I say this. I'm not, like I said, I like to see children and my children. If I have some one day, or my cousins and so forth, kids, want to be smoke free. Not going to argue about that at all. But how I see this, letting municipalities and counties try to play the nanny game, I have a question for them. Are you bastards broke? Do you need more money for revenue? I believe our peace officers, and I say that in good faith, need to keep the peace within the community as the best they can. They should not be delegated nannies or deputies of Nottingham. It is not going to work. And I have let my servants know why I oppose these bills. Senate Bill 342 and House Bill 309, which the language is still the same. I find it very ludicrous and disgusting. All right? And as far as I'm concerned, who owns your bodies? The people do, not the state. Who's responsible for the kids? The parents, not the state. Not saying you may have a few nut jobs in parenthood, but don't crucify them all. That's how I see this, and I can back this up by looking at Article 1, Section 2 of our Florida Constitution, entitled Basic Rights. And it states, all natural persons, male and female alike, are equal before the law and have inalienable rights, among which are the right to enjoy and defend life, liberty, and to pursue happiness, to be rewarded for industry, and to acquire, possess, and protect property, except that the ownership, inheritance, disposition, and possession of real property by aliens ineligible for citizenship may be regulated or prohibited by law. No person shall be deprived of any right because of race, religion, national origin, or physical disability. Usually the first sentence speaks for itself. And what will happen if these people don't defy? If they have a peaceable assembly, you gotta kick them all out. If they have a peaceable assembly, they're all smoking, talking about their rights. You're gonna violate same article, section 5. Right to assemble. The people shall have the right to peaceably to assemble, to instruct their representatives, and to petition for redress of grievances. You're gonna deprive that on them? Hey, how about section 4? My mistake. I should have that. Every person may speak freely, may speak, write, and publish sentiments on all subjects, but shall be responsible for the abuse of that right. That'll be the first sentence. I can use that. That's fair enough. So if everyone's having a pro-smokers rally, okay, at a park near a playground, and the person's making a speech, you're going to arrest them too? Who's the victim here? That's all I like to ask. All right? And you know what? And here's another thing too. Let's read section 9 of the same article, which is Declaration of Rights. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or be put in jeopardy for the same offense twice put into jeopardy for the same offense, or be compelled in any criminal matter to be a witness against oneself. Hey, you know what? That's another reason I find it's unconstitutional. And how about if they refuse to pay it? Don't comply. You got to throw them in jail and call it a bench warrant because you haven't paid your fines? That would be a thing called debtor's sentence. Here's what they say about that in section 11 of Article 1. No person shall be in prison for debt except in cases of fraud. I'm sorry, my friends, but the fact is this. Our Florida Constitution supersedes this particular bill. And I don't give a damn if tobacco-free Floridians don't like it. That's tough. Or anyone that hates smoking, which I hate it myself. We have to observe the bigger picture. I don't like smoking. It doesn't turn me on. Period. However, this bill here on playgrounds is outdoor rather than indoor. So this whole thing contradicts the Florida Clean Indoor Act. Well, it's going to be next. You're going to have them out in beaches. You're going to have them out in the street. Give me a break. As far as I'm concerned, I think Senator Bradley and Margolis should really pay attention on the chemtrail that's going all over our state of Florida. You can see the streaks around 5, 6 in the morning by these jet planes. And there's claims about aluminum and other poisonous gases is sprayed on our state. Is that okay? How come you don't go after them? If you don't know, I recommend everyone, including those two individuals, to look up what on earth are they spraying. They can go to YouTube, type it in there, and bam, you'll be surprised. It's a very interesting topic and a lot of good information as well, because it's okay for those assholes, excuse my language, because they are jerks, to spray on us, pollute our foods, and people can't smoke. Possibly in a beach or a playground. Give me a break. Because I know they're doing the same thing on vehicles where children are concerned. So, I got to keep this going here. Sorry, I got a little bit interrupted. However, you have to really start looking at that, my friends. And what I've done, I did wrote to them. I wrote to my elected servants and said, where is it? Right over here. Yeah, I've written to both my senator and my House representative, and I wrote this. Amending Statute 386.209 for the Florida Clean Air Act is nothing but a farce, plus having our police officers becoming delegated nannies or deputies of Nottingham is completely unacceptable. So I boldly recommend you vote no on this item. And this is coming from a non-smoker. Thank you. That's how I've done it. So if you want to write to them, to all my fellow Floridians, go to flhouse.gov or flsenate.gov. And you can find out who your representatives are. Most likely your address. If not, if you have a voter's card, flip it over. It's not that hard. Write to them, contact them. Even the other committees in there as well need that same attention. All right, my friends, and that's really it. So, well, one more thing. I forgot.